All right. Let me play us in. Now it's time for philosophy. Tell us who you are.
It's Ross.
Hey, it's me, Ryan, and we're back. It's been a while.
Yeah. It's weird to think about, like, how many things happened between the last episode where we thought that was it.
Yeah.
And, like, how many things had to go the way they went for us to be, like, back doing this.
That's true.
Like, it wasn't... At one point, I was, like, I had completely forgotten about it.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'd remember it and be like, oh, that was great.
Yeah.
But, like, I wasn't, like, thinking of doing it again. And then all of a sudden you brought it up and...
All because of my brother. Shout out to Chris. He said we should do it. So we're doing it.
Well, thanks, Chris.
Yeah, man. So yeah, it's been like 2.5 years. I could have gotten married and had a kid and gotten divorced in that time. I didn't. But yeah, brief synopsis. What have you been up to, Ross?
Well, I took a year off from school. Well, I guess since the last episode.
Yeah.
I went to college.
Congrats.
And then I took a year off.
Oh.
And then now I'm back in college.
Hey-oh. My favorite story from that whole thing is when you were off, you were a mailman.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I think
talk about that.
That's probably the most me thing that's ever happened. But, so I was looking for a job during my year off, and I hated the one I worked at. It was a store called Hy-Vee.
Yeah.
The quintessential Omaha first job. The bagger at Hy-Vee. But apparently I didn't smile enough or something, and the boss was always on me, and he'd be like, smile, Ross. But the thing is, he was never even smiling himself.
Hypocrite.
Yeah. And then, like, I feel like if I would have brought that up to him, he'd be like, I'm bummed out by you not smiling.
That would have been such a dad comeback.
Yeah. So, after I fill out the application, it's like 2 months later, I get a call for an interview, and I go to the interview, and it's one of those interviews where they're kind of just telling you what you're going to be doing. It's not really an interview. You've gotten the job,
right?
And they're just explaining it. So I quit my job at Hy-Vee, and then, like, months go by, and I'm unemployed. My dad is on my ass.
Oh, man.
And...
Shout out to Raj.
Roger, yeah. So, where was I?
You were unemployed and your dad was
I was unemployed. Roger's on my ass. And, I get a call, I go, put my fingerprints in a machine and fill out a form that I've already filled out twice online. Dang. But they need another copy. And then, a little while after that, I'm in orientation, and they're just going over healthcare and watch out for dogs. And so that was like 3 days of just 10 hours of PowerPoint each day. It was awful. And after that, I take my driver test. I did all right.
Nice.
But it's like, it's different when there's, like, you're actually on your route versus, like, just a bunch of cones in a parking lot.
Is that what it was?
Yeah.
Dang.
There's people telling you what to do. So, after, like, a couple more weeks of training, it's my first, like, day doing the route. I get lost because they didn't tell me I was going to do it that day. I just show up for training and they're like, you're doing the route.
Oh, man.
So I had no time to prepare, like, drive it the night before or anything.
Mm-hmm.
So I get lost. I'm doing great until then. Following the directions. I'm not getting in an accident.
Those are two good things.
Yeah. And then, I get lost. I'm driving around. My hazards are on because I'm flustered and I forgot to turn them off. Then I figure out where I'm supposed to turn. I'm like, I look in my mirror, nobody's there. Turn left, and boom.
Oh.
The end. And so what happened was the lady behind me saw my hazards, and there happened to be a mailbox at the corner, like in front of where I was slowing down to turn. So she thought I was pulling up there, started going around me, and she was right in my blind spot when I turned.
Oh.
And I mean, the damage was negligible to the vehicles.
Right.
But it was insurmountable.
Did you have to, like, fill out any report or anything like that?
Yeah, the sheriff showed up.
Oh, man.
Yeah. Other fellow mail carriers are driving by.
Ooh, that's rough. Oh, man.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for sharing.
I remember texting my friend. I was going to meet him for the Bob Dylan concert that was that night.
Oh.
Ended up making it, but I was like, well, I got in an accident, so it's either going to take a lot longer than it's supposed to, or way less.
Man. Wow, that's just such a funny story to me, because the way you first told it to me was like, yeah, I tried to be a mailman, but then I got in a car crash the first day, and so I didn't do that. And it's just such a you thing to me. But yeah, that's funny. So for today, I thought we could talk about pie versus cake. Now, right off the bat, I am a...
Well, what was your highlight of your time since the last episode?
Right. There's been quite a bit. I have stayed single this entire time, so nothing on that front. How about you?
Yeah, nothing for me either.
Oh, man.
I'm really, like... It's not like I'm putting myself out there or anything, so...
Yeah, me too. But yeah, so that's kind of the same. I went to Ecuador this summer. That was really cool. That was on a missions trip. But yeah, that was probably the highlight of recent memory. I love just getting to see the world, seeing different cultures, helping out, you know.
How many countries would that be for you then?
Including America, or I guess the United States of America. That's 3 countries. I went to the Dominican Republic about 4 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah. But yeah.
Which one's your favorite so far?
Favorite?
Yeah.
The USA. It's pretty
That's fair.
superior. That sounds kind of, I don't know. Now that I said superior, that sounds like supremacist. I feel like I'm getting myself into some hot water now.
That's what it's all about.
I guess so.
Come on in, the water's fine.
The water is piping.
That'd be a good meme, just like anyone who's said anything controversial in like the recent past.
Yeah.
And then just like whenever someone, it happens every day, people say controversial things, so it'd be good, and then you just like show like the one person who's about to say something bad or just said something bad, and everybody else like, come into the water's fine.
That's a good meme.
I've never like thought of like, I don't think I've ever like thought of a meme before until just then. That's
pretty cool. I look forward to the day, probably in like a month, where that's all over Twitter.
Oh,
and
I'll go on Photoshop tonight.
Get
going.
That'd be awesome.
Screw the homework I have.
Yeah, for real. That's sweet. But speaking of sweet,
Oh my god.
Pie versus cake. I'm a recent convert to the pie team.
Yeah?
Yeah, I
How
used
come?
to be cake because I thought, cakes are synonymous with celebration. But the more I thought about it, the more I thought, that's kind of a weak point. That doesn't mean they're better. Society
Yeah.
can be wrong, and often it is. And so
Wow.
let me present my case for pies, and then let me get your response. So, I think the potential for
Here,
greatness.
Let me get a pad and a pen.
Okay.
So I can
All right.
ground myself to...
While he's off doing that, I'll play you a nice little trumpet interlude on this trumpet that I have.
This be an acceptable pad.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. He's back with his pad, so we can have a proper debate. That was Beethoven's Fifth, as performed on a trumpet.
It could be like... I guess I don't really have a say in this. I shouldn't have a say. And I'm probably way out of line, but I feel like that'd be like a good, like, menstrual...
Where are you going with this?
Like, if a woman has to go, like, put a pad on, they could be like, I need a pad and a pen.
And like a little code word for other ladies.
Yeah. Yeah, so, like, they don't have to, like, be so explicit.
I don't know much about that process, but
Yeah.
I bet that would work. But yeah, you ready?
Well, like, a tampon isn't the same as a pad, right?
I don't think so. I think they serve the same purpose, but they are very different. Kind of like pies and cakes.
I'm sorry, I keep sidetracking. I like hearing your segues.
I want to work on them. It's a fun little exercise for me.
That'd be a fun day, just to, like, have a conversation with somebody while they're, like the whole thing is just one of you is trying to practice your segues. And, either way, it's a challenge, because the other person has to, like, make the topics, like, so far away from what it is. And, like, do it on purpose.
Do you think you would have, like, one topic, like, you would decide on at the beginning of the day and, like, throughout the day try to relate that thing back to the topic?
Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting. Well, speaking of segues, let's segue back into pies versus cakes.
Yes.
So, I hinted at this previously, but the potential for greatness in pies, I believe, is much more than the potential for greatness in cakes.
Oh, I agree.
Yeah, and I think that's a huge score for pies. When based on the idea that we're arguing for which one is better, I think that is pretty directly related to the quality of the idea of pie rather than cake. Secondly, I think pies are much more versatile in their uses. Like, pies cover a great many things. Like, there's fruit pies. There are like chocolate pies. There are, going a little bit out there, there's like shepherd's pie, chicken pot pie, pizza pie.
But those shouldn't be factored in the discussion with cake.
You can have other cakes, right? Can you think of other cakes? Like
a beef cake?
Yeah.
That's more of like a person.
Maybe. I can't think of other cakes. Sweet cake?
I mean, there's ice cream cake.
Ice cream cake.
But that's still, like, in the same realm as pie.
Yeah, it's a dessert. Whereas I would say shepherd's pie, for me, I would eat for dessert, but I don't think most people would consider it a dessert. Chicken pot pie, I down nearly on the daily.
Oh, I love a good chicken pot pie.
But if we're
They're hot
getting
as
those
hell.
out of the... That's true. I burnt my tongue on one yesterday. But if we're getting rid of the savory pies, that kind of takes away maybe the versatility point.
Well, I mean, it's still versatile more than cake, but it doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't matter if it goes in that direction to, like, beat cake at being cake.
Right. Yeah. So, I think that's a good point. There were some other ones, like, I don't know. What are your responses to those? And would you mind taking the side of cake for this time?
I don't know if I'm ready to play devil's advocate quite yet.
Okay.
Because I have some thinking out loud to do.
All right.
I agree that the potential for greatness is greater in pie.
Mm-hmm.
I think the biggest thing for cake that it has is that if you say you like cake, you're able to, like, you probably like all the cake. Like, there isn't, like, some weird cake that you're going to be like, oh, man, I don't like this better than pie.
Fruitcake.
Yeah. I feel like for pie, it's harder to take a stand for it against cake because there's so many different types of pies.
Yeah.
So if you could say, like, I like this specific pie better than cake, but then there's, like, other pies that are just shitty. Yeah. And I don't want to, like, say I like that better than cake. In cake, like, let's say somebody knows that I like pie better than cake, and they're like, oh, we'll get him a pie for his birthday. But then it's like, it happens to be one of the pies I don't like.
Yeah.
I don't want to run that risk.
For me, even though I'm on the side of pie, I know I don't really like berry pies. So, like, raspberry or blackberry or raspberry, those kinds of pies. Not a big fan. But here's the thought I had. Where do you think cheesecake falls into this? I think it should be a pie, even though it's called a cake.
Ooh. What? It is pretty pie-like. It's got the crust and the filling.
Yeah.
The Cheesecake Factory has pretty cakey-looking cheesecakes. Yeah. But is it about look, or is it about, like, what it is?
I think it's about what it is, and I think whether either side it goes, it's like a big score for that side. You know what I'm saying? Because I like a good cheesecake.
Yeah, me too.
I want to say it's a pie.
But where do brownies factor into all this? If we're gonna bring up cheesecake and
well, I don't think brownies are as relevant as cheesecake.
Cookies.
Sorry. Like what if you made like a cookie crust and then put like a cheesecake filling?
Yeah, what would that be?
I don't know. That's a little abstract, but I would say...
Is that just cookie with a bunch of frosting?
Ooh, speaking of frosting, I think that's a big point for pie, because I'm not a fan of frosting.
And that's because you're having bad frosting. If you're basing it off of, like, a Walmart cake, or, like, that really sugary stuff, that's the equivalent of, like, buying, like, a really cheap, crappy pie.
Like a really hard pecan pie?
Yeah. It's it's rock hard. Yeah. Flies have been landing on it all day.
Okay. But like you're saying high quality frosting is a score?
I think that's a score for cake. Well, for me it is, because I don't really have a sweet tooth.
Yeah.
I have sweet teeth.
Oh.
So, pie, like, doesn't really fill that void for me as well as cake usually does. And I think that's why I, like, have a better tolerance for cake. Because you can just give me cake and I'll eat it. And then I won't have it.
Yeah.
But I'll have eaten it, which is the point of having it. I think they should change that saying around. It shouldn't be you can't have your cake and eat it too. It should be you can't eat your cake and have it too. Because that's the point of it.
Yeah. That makes a lot more sense.
They're just leaving it up for people to interpret. And then you go 10 years without really knowing what it means, and you don't think that way because you've never been taught the lesson properly.
Yeah. That's weird how, like, often, like, you can be saying a phrase or, like, even a joke, like the chicken crossing the road, and then, like, 15 years later be like, oh, that's what that means.
Yeah. That's what happened to me with once you go black, you never go back.
Yeah.
I was just saying it in, like, 7th grade, just all over the place one day. Saying it to teachers.
Oh, man.
Students.
Yikes.
Janitors.
Terry.
Probably sent it to Terry.
Speaking of Terry, did you hear how he got, like, fired? Did we talk about this?
No.
Yeah. I don't know.
Should this be recorded?
Probably not. But I'll talk to you about it later, man. It was kind of a big deal, I think.
It sounds like it.
Yeah. But we'll get back to that after the mic turns off.
Well, yeah, and then Evan, like, came up to me and he's like, dude, you know what that actually means? And I'm like, no. And he told me.
Oh, man, Evan. For you longtime listeners, you'll remember Evan is our half-black friend. He was on the episode Diversity Day. I think that was, like, episode 6 or 7.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Nice. Well, that was... Did we exhaust the pie versus cake conversation? Did we come to a conclusion on that?
Let's wrap it up. If we
right.
Like, I don't know if there's any more to say, but I'm just ready to, like, state my opinion.
All right, you go first and then I'll...
All right. I think pie is, like, the objectively better thing.
Nice.
Because there's the variety, and you can really tell, like, what's good and what's bad in pie.
Yeah.
And cake, I feel like you need, like, a trained palate for that.
Yeah.
So, I think, like, since cake is more I don't know, like, I don't want to say more general because, like, pie would be, like, more to take in. But, I don't know. It's more inclusive, I guess. Like, when you say you like cake, you like cake. So, I feel like it's easier to take a stand for cake.
Yeah.
That, like, I'm not really letting that factor into my decision.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just, like, saying, like, maybe cake defenders just fall into that category.
Yeah.
But I think for me, I like cake because it satisfies my sweet teeth more than pie can.
I feel like if pie included cheesecake, then that would satisfy your sweet teeth pretty well.
Yeah.
I think. And also French silk pie is, like, super sweet.
That is true.
And the last point I'm thinking, I think you have a lot more cake than pie in your life, and that decreases this, like, specialness of it. And also because of that, you get a lot more bad cake in your mouth. And
yeah.
So for a couple of those reasons, I think pie is probably better. And I have remained unconvinced about the superiority of cake, and I still stand by pie. That's my final thought.
All right.
All right. Well, that was our discussion on pie versus cake. I've been hinting or teasing Ross with this picture that I want to show him, and now is the time. So I'm just going to show him this picture on my phone, and y'all are going to get his reaction.
So you want to know which one I would do?
Yeah.
The second one. Because you wash your hands after you poop no matter what. So it wouldn't be, like, any different.
Let me see which one the second one is.
You're not trying to, like, jeopardize your, like, overall health of the shower.
Yeah.
Like, if you waffle stomp, it's just going to leave residue and it's going to build up.
Oh, man. That's true.
But, I mean, it depends how, like, if I have a poop ache beforehand.
Oh, yeah.
So if it's going to just be liquid, I'll just go down the drain.
Yeah.
I'm not going to try to get that in a hand.
Okay,
Diarrhea in a hand is worth 2 solids in a bush.
Okay. Just a little backtrack for the listeners. The picture at the top says, "Would you poop in the shower like this?" ? And it shows a dude pooping into the drain and then smashing it down the drain with his heel. Or like this, he's pooping into his hand while he's in the shower and then reaching out of the shower and tossing it into the toilet. Ross says he would do the second one. I'm not confident I could catch all my poops in my hand.
This reminds me of the advice I'm going to give you is advice I got from a kindergarten teacher.
Okay.
I'll tell the story after.
Okay.
Just take a thing of toilet paper and just like pick it up with your hand. Well, then why aren't we just pooping in toilet paper if we're going to use the toilet paper to pick up the poop? You could just use your bare hand. Like, if it's solid poop, then it doesn't matter if you miss or not. But what happened was I crapped my pants in, like, kindergarten or first grade because I was too shy to ask to go to the bathroom until it was so bad. And then I made the mistake of running to the bathroom.
Oh.
So I learned that lesson pretty early.
Yikes.
My first lesson.
There you go.
And so I go back to the teacher and I'm like, I pooped all over the floor in my pants. And she's like, oh, just pick it up off the ground and put it in the toilet. And I'm like, it's not like that.
Oh.
It's water.
Oh, yikes. And you were like in second grade, you said? Kindergarten?
For kindergarten or first grade, I don't remember which.
That is rough.
I remember sitting in the office, and my friends come back in from recess, go to the bathroom, and they like come up to the office, and they're like, "Dude, you should see the bathroom. Someone shat everywhere."
Oh,
or they didn't say the S word.
Oh yeah.
Probably said pooped. Maybe crapped.
My friend
That was probably big in
Chase,
first grade.
I don't know. He's been on this kick of saying "what the shark" all the time.
Shark.
I don't know why, but that's what he's been doing. But yeah, so I think, I would do the second one too, even if I pooped. I just would pick it up and throw it in the toilet and not like try to smush it down because it's bad. Like if I ever wanted to take a bath again, that would not be good.
Yeah, I don't know why people would do that.
Yeah,
I mean, you don't get all this shit put away.
that's true.
I
So
keep swearing.
it's all right, man. Well, I won't bleep it out, but we'll just
Replace it with a dub of me saying poop.
okay. That sounds easier. Well, I think that's all the time we have for today. Thank you for our sponsors. Who do we have sponsoring us?
The letter X.
Okay.
And the literary device, alliteration.
Nice. Alliteration, awesome. That's my contribution to this. All right. See y'all next time. This has been Ryan and
The other guy.
Up in the Stewed. We're dudes. I'm going to play us out now.